The cast of Girlfriends then, and now 2000 versus 2026, will amaze you. They were the friends we invited into our living rooms every week. But what happened after Girlfriends ended will surprise you. One of them rose to win a Golden Globe and build a beauty empire worth millions. Another walked away from the show at the height of her fame, shocking everyone. And one beloved cast member fell so far, he ended up living in his sister's garage for years, working as a bouncer between roles. Behind the laughter, these stories are about reinvention, struggle, and second chances. Stay until the end, because some of these journeys go places you'd never expect. And if you love the truth behind the fame, subscribe to Hidden Celebrity Stories and drop a comment. Tell us which character you loved most. Tracee Ellis Ross, Joan Clayton. The moment Girlfriends arrived in 2000, Joan Clayton felt less like a sitcom lead than a friend you already knew. Ambitious, tender, gloriously imperfect. The woman shaping her was Tracee Ellis Ross, and across 8 seasons, she turned Joan into a portrait so relatable that she helped sustain one of the longest-running comedies ever built around Black women, collecting 2 NAACP Image Awards along the way. She carried a famous surname as the daughter of Diana Ross, yet nothing here was inherited. Here lies the part that startles people most. When the series wrapped in 2008, the offers didn't flood in. Ross has talked candidly about the unsettled years that followed, when the work she anticipated simply failed to appear, exposing how even a celebrated Black actress can be left in limbo by the industry. The tide turned in 2014 with Blackish. Her doctor, Rainbow Johnson, captivated a fresh generation. And in January 2017, she claimed a Golden Globe, becoming the first Black woman in roughly 35 years to win Best Actress in a TV comedy or musical. The first since Debbie Allen in the early 1980s. Over the show's run, she also drew multiple Emmy nominations, a recognition of how fully she'd arrived. Away from the camera, she founded Pattern Beauty in 2019, crafted for textured hair, blending entrepreneurship with representation. Today, her reported net worth is estimated around $16 million, and she stands as a symbol of persistence far more than a single role. Her path whispers a quiet lesson worth holding on to. Success rarely comes on schedule, and the richest chapters often follow the stillest, most uncertain seasons. Jennifer Lewis, Valletta Childs. Jennifer Lewis never merely entered a scene, she commanded it. As Valletta Childs, Tony's brash, volatile, take-no-prisoners mother, she poured humor and friction and unexpected feeling into every appearance. A woman tough to love, yet impossible to forget. Long before Girlfriends, she was already a veteran, having risen through Broadway before claiming her place in film and television as the quintessential fierce, no-nonsense matriarch. The unofficial crown came naturally. The mother of Black Hollywood earned across pictures like What's Love Got to Do with It?, The Preacher's Wife, and Think Like a Man, where her mere presence lent gravity to whatever she touched. But Valletta was never written off as comedy alone. Behind the brashness lived a woman marked by hardship, including a battle with alcoholism that fractured her bond with her daughter, and Lewis revealed both the wreckage and the affection tangled within it. Her momentum never slowed. From 2014 to 2022, she lit up Blackish as the razor-witted Ruby Johnson, charming an entirely new audience. And her life beyond the screen has carried its own weight. She has been forthright about living with bipolar disorder, turning her platform toward mental health advocacy, and in her memoir, The Mother of Black Hollywood, she laid bare both her wounds and her grit. She has also faced genuine trials, among them a financial scam and a grave injury in 2022 that required a long road back. With a reported net worth estimated around $2 million, Jennifer Lewis defines staying power. A career measured not by passing fame, but by stamina, honesty, and the refusal to be diminished by any setback. Persia White, Lynn Searcy. In every tight-knit group, there's the wanderer, and on Girlfriends, that was Lynn Searcy. Restless, creative, and always reaching for a direction just out of grasp. Persia White lent her a truthfulness that cut beneath the comedy. Lynn seemed light and unbothered on the surface, yet her uncertainty about identity and purpose mirrored feelings many viewers kept private. Through 8 seasons, White held attention precisely because Lynn broke the rules, never measured by conventional achievement or the milestones a script usually insists upon. When the series closed, she chose a road as artistic as the character herself. Rather than acting alone, she leaned into music, releasing her debut album Mecca in 2009, a labor of songwriting and self-expression, and a fitting one, given that her music had already surfaced on the show. Her next significant turn came on The Vampire Diaries as Abby Bennett Wilson, carrying her into supernatural drama and a brand new fan base, and introducing her to actor Joseph Morgan, whom she wed in 2014. There's a further dimension that defines her just as deeply. A dedicated vegan and a vocal champion of environmental and animal causes, she has partnered with groups like the Sea Shepherd Conservation Society and earned recognition from PETA for her advocacy. Commitments that stretch far past any script. Her reported net worth, estimated around $700,000, mirrors a life built on branching outward instead of seizing the mainstream. But Persia White's tale was never one of disappearing. It's one of reinventing what success means, favoring creativity, principle, and balance over visibility, and reminding us that a meaningful life follows no single blueprint. Keisha Sharp, Monica Brooks. Keisha Sharp's Monica Brooks crashed into the group like a challenge. Self-assured, sharp-edged, unafraid to ruffle feathers. And then, scene by scene, she earned a place in it. What started as a recurring face grew into a full lead by the closing seasons, as Sharp guided Monica from outsider to one of the circle's most respected voices. That arc demanded an actress who could find nuance where another might have settled for a stereotype, and she delivered it with ease. Once Girlfriends ended, she pulled off what countless actors hope for and rarely achieve. She never lost a beat. In 2016, she drew praise as Dale Cochran in The People v. O.J. Simpson. American Crime Story, a prestige production that showcased her dramatic reach for a national audience. She carried that forward as Trish Murtaugh in Lethal Weapon from 2016 to 2019, grounding a high-octane series with warmth, and appeared in films such as Marshall in 2017, alongside recurring turns in Empire and Power Book 2, Ghost. Where so many stall after one defining part, Sharp constructed something steady and wide-ranging, then moved behind the camera as a director, broadening her craft into new territory. Her private life holds a rarity for the industry, too, an enduring marriage to her husband Brad, a bond that traces all the way back to high school. With a reported net worth estimated around $3 million, Keisha Sharp embodies consistency and quiet evolution, living proof that not every great career rides dramatic peaks and valleys. Some are assembled patiently, one deliberate step at a time, into something built to last. Jill Marie Jones, Tony Childs. Tony Childs swept into Girlfriends as pure glamour, ambition, and devastating wit, and Jill Marie Jones embodied her so completely that the whole show seemed to rise around her. As Jones' stylish, frequently scandalous best friend, Tony gleamed on the outside while concealing a fragile, security-hungry heart beneath. And from the earliest episodes, she became a fan favorite who powered some of the series' most unforgettable arcs. For 6 seasons, she sat at its core. Then, without warning, she stepped away. Her exit at the end of Season 6 blindsided fans and castmates, and speculation raced. Contract battles, backstage tension, all the usual theories. But Jones eventually clarified the truth. It was her own decision. After 6 years, She longed to stretch herself and discover what lay beyond a single role. The move was daring and undeniably perilous, since leaving a hit usually means forfeiting guaranteed visibility, and rebuilding momentum in this business is a steep climb. She turned toward film and other television. American Horror Story, Asylum, The Chi, and the drama Monogamy, where she headlined for several seasons. She stayed working, even as that mainstream radiance of her Girlfriends era proved hard to reclaim. A familiar lesson in how one cherished show rarely promises an unbroken streak of marquee parts. Lately, she's kept at it steadily, reflecting on her departure without regret, while admitting the farewells with her castmates might have been handled with more care. With a reported net worth estimated around $1 million, Jill Marie Jones walked not the cautious path but her own. And now and then, that very choice is what shapes a lasting legacy. Golden Brooks, Maya Wilkes. Golden Brooks handed Girlfriends a voice that rang true, frank, unguarded, and grounded in the texture of ordinary life. As Maya Wilkes, she fused comedy with real feeling, living out the trials of marriage, motherhood, and the slow work of becoming yourself. Maya carried plenty of flaws, and that's exactly why audiences took her to heart. From 2000 to 2008, she anchored the show, admired for her authenticity, and though no trophies arrived, her resonance with viewers only deepened as Maya matured from a young wife into a more self-possessed woman. After the finale, Brooks made a decision that distinguished her from the pack. Instead of sprinting toward the next part, she stepped back into her own life, welcoming her daughter in 2009 and devoting herself to raising her. The choice was profoundly personal. Yet in Hollywood, a break like that can silently drain a career's forward motion. When she returned, the terrain had changed. She took guest roles in series such as CSI, Miami, and Heart of Dixie, patiently rebuilding her footing. And in 2019, she surfaced in I Am the Night, a limited series helmed by Patty Jenkins. Clear evidence the industry still valued her talent. In 2023, she joined the Disney Channel's Saturdays, reaching a younger crowd while preserving the relatability that always set her apart. With a reported net worth estimated around $8 million, Brooks lived out a different sort of Hollywood story, drawn as much by choice as by ambition. Her journey leaves behind a quietly powerful truth. To step away is not to step down. She paused, she adjusted, and she came back precisely on her own terms. Khalil Kain, Darnell Wilkes. Khalil Kain didn't arrive in our living rooms quietly. He arrived with force. In 1992, he left a searing mark in the cult favorite Juice, acting opposite Tupac Shakur and establishing himself at once as a performer of genuine depth and command. Still, it was Girlfriends that planted him in households nationwide as Darnell Wilkes, a man built on responsibility, trust, and a quiet emotional weight. Arriving in Season 2, he walked into a fully formed world and claimed it as his own. And as Maya's husband, Darnell's journey through infidelity, separation, and hard-earned reconciliation supplied some of the show's most charged moments, anchored by a mix of toughness and tenderness that kept him grounded. After the series concluded in 2008, Kain didn't fade, but his direction changed. Forgoing the chase for mainstream stardom, he moved among television, film, and creative pursuits, appearing in Tyler Perry's For Colored Girls in 2010 and in series like CSI, Miami. Work that sustained him, even without the reach of his sitcom days. His defining quality is how boldly he expanded beyond performing. He became a writer and producer drawn to personal and social subjects, and his play Lambs to Slaughter reckons with the impact of gun violence on families, converting private grief into something that speaks to many. He has explored music and spoken word as well, enlarging his artistry at every step. With a reported net worth estimated around $1 million, his is a career grounded in versatility over fame. Khalil Kain's story isn't about diminishing. It's about a man who reshaped his purpose and chose to create entirely on his own terms. Reggie Hayes, William Dent. Among a circle of women, William Dent held the center. The only man, yet somehow the most grounded voice in the room. Reggie Hayes gave him humor, intellect, and a warm undercurrent of feeling that lifted William well past comic relief into something like the show's moral ballast. Loyal, steady, quietly strong. Through all 8 seasons, he was a dependable highlight, his chemistry with the lead so beloved that producers reportedly weighed a spin-off around him. For a time, his future looked boundless. But the end of Girlfriends in 2008 brought a reality far harsher than the screen ever suggested. Where some castmates moved on smoothly, Hayes found major roles painfully scarce, hemmed in by typecasting in a tightening industry. He has spoken without flinching about how brutal those years grew, in his career and his bank account alike. As the residual checks he depended on thinned out, he eventually moved into his sister's garage, living there for several years. A sobering descent for a man who'd given nearly a decade to a hit show. He took work as a bouncer, still recognized by fans, and quietly endured congestive heart failure that drained his strength and steadiness. Even so, he never let go. In 2022, he returned to television with warmly embraced guest appearances on the acclaimed comedy Abbott Elementary, a genuinely stirring comeback for an actor so many had longed to see again. With a reported net worth estimated around $4 million, his story reaches past hardship into something larger: resilience, and the quiet grace of enduring until the second chance finally arrives. Phil Reeves, Charles Sweetelson. He was never the headliner, but anyone who watched Girlfriends still pictures Charles Sweetelson. As the offbeat, faintly awkward managing partner at the law firm, Phil Reeves married authority to an almost endearing obliviousness, claiming scenes not through force but through soft, flawlessly timed humor. The magic was that none of it felt staged. Sweetelson wasn't reaching for laughs. He simply earned them, never more so than when fumbling slang that sailed right over his younger colleagues. To linger in memory on so little screen time takes a true craftsman. And craft is precisely what Reeves has spent decades perfecting, in ways many viewers never quite clock. His resume spans television, film, and theater, with appearances in The Office, Desperate Housewives, Veep, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You may recognize him best as Paul Ioresco on Parks and Recreation, where his deadpan made him a quiet favorite all over again. And he teamed more than once with the acclaimed director Alexander Payne, turning up in Election in 1999 and Sideways in 2004, gliding between comedy and drama without strain. That range is no accident. Armed with a Master of Fine Arts and years on the stage, he brings a discipline and depth that surface in every part. With a reported net worth estimated around $2 million, Reeves stands for a kind of triumph the industry too often overlooks. Not everyone becomes a household name, but some become something just as precious, dependable, respected, and lasting. In a business spellbound by the spotlight, he proves that longevity itself can be the quietest victory of all. 9 actors, 1 unforgettable show, and 9 very different roads after the cameras stopped. Some soared to new heights, some quietly stepped away by choice, and some fought through hardship most fans never saw. But it leaves us with a real question worth debating. Did Girlfriends get the respect it truly deserved, or did Hollywood move on too quickly? And after 25 years, would a revival bring these stars back to the spotlight? Or has that moment already passed? There are no easy answers, only memories worth honoring. Tell me in the comments which journey moved you the most and where you're watching from. And if stories like this matter to you, subscribe to Hidden Celebrity Stories, where the people who shaped a generation are never forgotten.